G'day and welcome to CJ Today Reads, episode 2, I suppose. This story comes from something that was gifted to me in, if I can find the page, 1977 from Daddy. So it was given to me a very, very long time ago. It's from a treasury of little golden books. There's like 50 stories in here. All, if you're familiar with golden books, actually I'm exaggerating, there's only 48. And this one is called Four Little Kittens by Kathleen N. Daly. You'll notice some of the language is interesting in this because this was like written in, I don't know, 1950s or 60s. And I'm dedicating this particular episode to Kathy from Court Vibes because earlier this year she had a plethora of cats, kittens, or as she would say, kittens, because she doesn't pronounce the T. That apparently it's a thing in Pennsylvania, which I found very interesting. It's quite kind of cute. Kittens, 4 little kittens, and she didn't know the names of half of them. I don't think they had names at that stage. She was helping out a family member, I think, from memory. So this story is dedicated to her. It's called 4 Little Kittens. Now, I have an issue, of course I do, with one of the names of one of the kittens, and you'll find out why. So here we go. Once upon a time, 4 kittens were born in a corner of a barn. I wonder what kind of cats they'll grow up to be, thought the mother cat. She licked her 4 new babies proudly. Of course, they were still tiny. Their eyes were sealed shut and they could only mew and snuggle close to their mother's warm side. In a few days, the kittens opened their eyes. Each day they grew a little bit bigger and a little stronger. And a great deal naughtier, thought Mother Cat as she pounced on her twitchy tail. Children, she said one day, because who says that? Teachers, maybe, in the 70s. Children, anyway, this is Mother Cat is saying children, not kittens, said one day, the time has come for you to decide what kind of cats you will be. Tell us, mewed the little kittens, what kind of cats there are. Mother Cat sat up straight and half closed her green eyes and began. There are alley cats. I'm going to abbreviate some of this because it goes on for ages, this story. I'm going to be here for like half an hour if I keep doing this. All right. So there's an alley cat. No manners, no washing, no, sheathing of claws. You've got to strike out with your claws. And your Uncle Tom was an alley cat. So they make fine music at night. And they're enemies of stray dogs, etc. That's the life of me, said Tuff, Tuff. You might see where this is going. Tuff, the biggest kitten, so away he went. Now, there's also Uncle Tar, said Mother Cat, and that's a ship's cat. They visit lots of seaports. Those of you who have been in the Navy would know about this. There's a particular cat that was Matthew Flinder's cat, which he circumnavigated Australia in the 1800s, late 1700s, early 1800s, and he had a cat named Trim. Just a bit of random information that is not in this story. So, brave, roving, jolly cat is a ship's cat. So, that's the life for me, said Luff, Luff. And then there's farm cats, said Mother Cats. They're useful, catch mice. Farmers love them. They live on a bed of straw. They can talk to the animals. So they're like Doolittle. That's the life for me, said Ruff, Ruff. So we've got Tuff, we've got Luff, we've got Ruff. It's the third kitten. Now the smallest one. The smallest kitten name is Muff. That's what I have an issue with because I'm not sure this had the meaning that I know to be what that is. I know it's something that you, in Russia, if you've got cold hands, you put your hands inside of. It's known as a muff, but that has an entirely different meaning. So I wanted to say, let's not use that. Let's call it Buff. So we'll see how that goes. So I'm going to change the name to Buff because, let's face it, who doesn't like a bit of buff? So Buff was gentle and playful and pretty, of course, and kept her paws clean. She says, I don't think I can be an alley cat, a ship's cat, or even a farm cat. So Mother Cat sighed and went to eat a juicy mouse. This is not pleasant. A juicy, yeah. And then sorry, we're going back to Buff, decided to check things out and see whether any of these careers, in inverted commas, you didn't see me do air quotes, but I just did air quotes, careers, she could do. So she tried farm cat, but she's afraid of rats. So she didn't like that at all. She thought going with tough into the alley would be cool, but a dog barked, wuff, wuff. Although I guess it could be woof, woof if you pronounce the U, Fozzie, the U in wuff as an oo or an Well, how about we just do wuff, woof? There we go. Then happy everybody will be. So when the dog barked, wuff, woof, that's when Buff, I had to think about that for a minute, got scared and ran away. Alley cat is not for me, she thought. Down to the river she ran, and she saw Luff on a big, this is just so creative, isn't it, the names of these cats? Anyway, Luff on a big ship in the harbour. The sailors were busy with ropes and things, but already Luff had curled up in a nice place where he wouldn't be in the way and would be visiting other cats in lands far away. It began to rain, and hang on, I've got stuck somewhere. Where he could be miles away, blah, blah, blah. Oh, Muff waved goodbye. Oh, sorry, Buff. Buff waved goodbye. "Are we showing you what kind of cat I am?" she sighed. Then she had to run out of the way as a bicycle came by. So maybe that was Donald on a bicycle, those of you who know Donald. I don't think he would intentionally try and run over a cat, just saying. So it began to rain, and Buff got cold and wet. She did see, this is why I can't say Muff. That sentence would have been weird. She didn't like that at all, and she shook her wet paws crossly. She lay down to sleep on a lumpy pile of sacks. She didn't like that very much either. She was cold and hungry and cross, and when a big hand picked her up, she spat and hissed for all the world like an alley cat. Maybe I am like an alley cat, she thought. But then the hand put her into a big warm pocket. See, that put Muff in a muff. That's kind of what this, yeah, anyway. So put her in a big warm pocket, and after a few angry squawks and a sad little mew, Buff fell asleep. I have to keep thinking about this. Buff fell asleep. When next she opened her eyes, Buff was in a house. There were cushions and carpets and curtains. 2 of those are missing from my house, so she wouldn't like it here. There was a warm, crackly fire. Oh, no, there's 3 things. I don't have warm, crackly fire either. There was a little girl with soft, gentle hands. I also don't have one of those. "Oh, what a lovely kitten," said the little girl. "Oh, I wanted a kitten so much. Now I won't be lonely anymore." The little girl gave Buff a saucer of cream. Buff drank it all with one foot in the saucer to keep it steady. This is how I eat, I must say. Then she washed her paw and licked her whiskers. I don't do that. This was much better than fat, juicy mice for dinner. Why would you describe it this way? Anyway, the little girl played with Buff. Got to be very clear. This time she is playing with Buff. B-U-F-F. She dangled a string, and Buff jumped and pounced in her prettiest way. I didn't know you could jump and pounce in a prettiest way. Anytime I've jumped and pounced, it's been in a fairly inelegant, clumsy way. But then I'm not a cat. But my cat is incredibly stupid. I think I may have mentioned this before. She can be walking along a flat surface that's elevated off the ground, and it's perfectly flat and straight and nothing on it, and she will fall off it. She'll just miss a step and fall off it. She is so clumsy. So maybe you do become a little bit like your owners. No, other way around. Maybe whatever the phrase is. You look like your cat or your dog, or they look like you. So I would not have been jumping and pouncing in a pretty way. But however, Buff was, and the little girl laughed with delight, and Buff purred. This was much better than running away from barking dogs and turning wheels. The little girl lifted Buff onto her warm lap. Again, very clearly got to say Buff, B, Buff, lifted Buff onto her warm lap and stroked Buff's fur. No laughing, please. Oh, it's so nice to have a kitten. I'm going to say that properly. Oh, it's nice to have a kitten, said the little girl, and Buff purred loudly. This was much better than a pile of lumpy sacks, or even a bed of straw. That is the life of me, purred Buff. I know what kind of cat I am. I am a cushion and cream cat. See, I know what cat I am too, because I am definitely cushion, cream, and champagne. What's another C word? Chocolate. When you think of other C words, I'm sure somebody would think of a beer koozie, but I'm not, or cozy, or whatever the hell you call it. Anyway, whatever the heck you call it, I should say. I am a cushion and cream cat, a purring cat, a cuddlesome cat. See, me. A playful cat. Yep, me. A little girl's cat. No, that's not me. I am a house cat. That's me. And so, all 4 kittens lived happily ever after. Tough lived in his alley because he was an alley cat. Rough lived on his farm because he was a rough farm cat. That was a bad joke. Luff on his ship because he was a ship's cat. You don't want to get that the wrong way and say something's cat. So do a spoonerism and say shit's cat. Ship's cat. And Buff on her cushions in her house with her little girl because she was a house cat. Yay! Everybody clapped and cheered and had a great time. I thought I was going to run out of time because I didn't want to make this video more than 15 minutes, so I cut little bits out. Do you want me to go back and tell you what I cut out? I'm going to do that anyway. So when I talked about the alley cats, Mother Cat said an alley cat is long and lean and slinks like shadows, sleeps where he can and eats what he finds. Now, who do we know that's like that? I'm sure you can think of someone who's like that. A free cat he is, no manners, no to mind, no washing of paws, no sheathing of claws. He does what he likes and nobody knows but he. I'm reminded, actually, what was that cartoon of the alley cat? TC, Top Cat. Do you remember Top Cat? I would sing, but I still want you to remain a subscriber if you've subscribed, so perhaps I better not scream. But it was TC. He was the leader of the gang. I remember that bit. Well, it was from years and years ago. Put a note in the comments if you know what I'm talking about with Top Cat, with TC. So we did that description. I kind of cut that short. I said fine music at night, howling to the moon, enemies of stray dogs and turning wheels. So that became a bit more relevant. And then cold, sleety rain. And then when we talked about Tar, Uncle Tar and the ship's cat, and that's when, who decided, this is a quiz, who decided that was the life? It was Luff, L-U-F. They visit seaports 1,000 miles away, talks to foreign cats, chases foreign rats, and tries to come aboard. There you go. And everything else I pretty much read. So that's just a small recap. Oh, if you want to know a bit more about the farm, that it doesn't tell you. It just tells you there's mice and there's straw. So the most descriptive was the alley cat. So I have a feeling that's where father of these cats might have come from because mother seems quite enamoured with the alley cat. Anywho, that's the story. Tell me what you think. So as to avoid copyright, I have added commentary, been a bit silly. That brings me to another point. In future readings, I will continue to do silly reads like this. Actually, I have this compendium of little golden books, so I've got another 48. Woohoo! You've got a lot to listen to. But I also want to do some serious stuff. I have a friend of mine who is a phenomenal poet, and I would like her to read one of hers. That would be a more serious one. So, and then I would also like to do some dreamtime stories, which are the stories from the Aboriginal people that were the original occupants of Australia and still are, and they weren't were, but they were here for 40,000 years. We've only been here, the European settlers have only been here for about 250. So, big difference. But they've got some really interesting stories. So those ones I would do in a more serious tone as well. I wouldn't make fun of those at all. So maybe I'll have a playlist that's for fun, silly ones like this one and like my Twas. And then I have a serious one, and then you can choose. You don't have to listen to both. I know a certain person is pushing me to do more than one a week. I'm just going to see how this goes because, like others, I have a job and a business to run, so I've got other things to do. So we'll just see how this goes and whether, we get to make more stories or how often I'm going to do them. That's what I was trying to say. Thank you once again to those people who have subscribed. I can't believe how many of you actually did and listened. And to the people that didn't like what I did or got offended, then, just kind of, what's the phrase? I don't know, something about a princess. Anyway, I have to think of what that is. See, I want to say buckle up, princess, but that's a completely different phrase. And relates to something totally different. So it's just settle, pedal. I'm going to say that. So I didn't intend to be offensive. If you took it as an offense, then that's on you. I'm not going to own that. Anyway, that's my story for today. I hope you enjoyed it. Listening with no accent. I don't have an accent, but everybody who listens to this thinks that I do. Well, not everybody, because there are a couple of people who are from Australia that have listened to it and have gone, I don't hear an accent, because of course I don't have one and neither do they. But for the people who live in other countries and have accents and aren't familiar, I hope you enjoyed my reading of this particular story, and I will see you next time. I've been CJ, and I still am, and you're listening to CJ Reads. Bye.
Never knew that it could feel this way when you lie next to someone. You don't even need to play pretend, 'cause you find the way you are. I wanna know you better, give me every detail. I won't judge you, as you know. I could stay forever when you're lying in my arms. My heart is open, it just took some time. Now I just hope that you'd stay for a little while. You fix what's broken when you make that smile. So just stay for a little while. So just stay for a little while. I didn't think that I would find that someone who's as honest as you are. The way you make me feel at night when I am vulnerable and it's cold outside, but you make it alright. I wanna know you better, give me every detail. I won't judge you, as you know. I could stay forever when I'm lying in your arms. My heart is open, it just took some time. Now I just hope that you stay for a little while. You fix what's broken when you make that smile. So just stay for a little while. So long when you go, and I can't get enough of you. So can't you stay a little while? I don't want you to leave, so please stay with me. Stay for a little while. Stay for a little while. My heart is open, it just took some time. Now I just hope that you stay for a little while. You fix what's broken when you make that smile.